Welcome to Learning Plan 6. This unit will be looking at using Excel as a tool for managing manufacturing inventory, constructing a schedule of cost of goods manufactured and sold. In the manufacturing environment, this can be a very useful tool. Up on top of the spreadsheet, you can see that we have a data set that would typically be available to you in a manufacturing environment, which we'll use to calculate our cost of goods manufactured and sold. In this unit, having the data up top is very useful as it's common that our inputs like material, labor, and inventory can change. And by using all formulas below, when these changes occur, we can update our data up top and have confidence that that data is now going to flow below to our template that we've created. Let's get started, but let's remember that we're only using formulas. So remember that in your earlier accounting classes, we would calculate cost of goods sold by taking beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory. When we're the manufacturer, we do this calculation separately for raw materials, work in process and finished goods. In other words, we do this formula 3 times, once for each type of inventory. All right, so let's get started here with our direct materials. We can see that the direct material inventory on January 1st, and we're looking at a full year, was $366,000. So what are we going to add? We're going to add our material purchases. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop our formula in here. And we're looking for purchases of direct materials, and we are taking the label. And let's also just right away drop in the corresponding dollar amount. Okay, so that's going to be C17. Okay, so we've got a formula in here that calculated for us our direct materials inventory plus our purchase. Well, what are we going to subtract? If we're following our cost of goods sold formula, we're going to subtract out our ending inventory. Okay, so let's go up to our A11, which is our direct materials inventory at the end of the year. And let's pull also our corresponding data amount. So we've said that formula now a couple times, our cost of goods sold. So here we're doing cost of direct materials used. Okay. Let's go ahead and build our formula. We take our beginning inventory plus our purchases. Okay. Or we could have maybe grabbed just cell D30 minus our ending inventory. So we're going to get a cost of direct materials used of $2,574,720. Now let's take a look at our manufacturing overhead. So for overhead, these are expenses that you're incurring, whether you're producing units or not. So factory rent, great example. How about also, what's another one that would be considered overhead? How about depreciation? So we've got depreciation up here. Let's grab our label. Oops. Start out with our equal sign. Grab our label. Also grab our corresponding data. Another thing, if you're looking up top, that we could grab as overhead would be the indirect labor. Okay, we're looking at A15. Let's grab our corresponding data. And then how about also indirect, indirect materials. Not directly related to All right, and you can see we've had a nice formula sum up for us all of our overhead expenses. So now we're taking a look at our total manufacturing costs. So what are our total manufacturing costs? Well, the material plus labor plus overhead. Okay, so I think we've got all of that. So let's go ahead and build our formula. Here's our material plus our labor plus our overhead, which we just calculated. So we have total manufacturing costs of $5.8 million. Next up is work in process. Okay, we can see here we've got work in process on January 1st of $121,200. Then we added in our total work in process available, which is simply the work in process on January 1st plus the total manufacturing cost that we just calculated. So in our normal cost of goods sold formula, what are we going to subtract out? Well, we're going to subtract out our ending inventory. So let's go ahead and grab our ending inventory, A19, work in process, and our related data. So our cost of goods manufactured, here we're simply going to take and build a formula to take our total work in process available minus our work in process as of 12/31. Okay, we're going to get $5,889,900. Okay, so we're almost to the end here to calculate our cost of goods sold. Okay, so to start our formula, what we're going to need is our beginning of the period. We're going to need the beginning of our period's finished goods. So let's go ahead and grab that up in A13, our finished goods on January the 1st, and we want our label here. Bring over our corresponding data. What we're going to do is we're going to add the cost of goods manufactured during the period to our beginning finished goods. So that's what we're doing here in the cost of goods available for sale. We're going to take cell D43, cost of goods manufactured, add that to the finished goods on 1/1, or D44. Okay, going to come up with the cost of goods available of $6.4 million. And then we've got our finished goods inventory, which is already filled in for us, the $690,000. So to complete that cost of goods formula that we've been working with kind of repetitively here, we're going to go ahead and take our cost of goods available for sale, okay, minus our finished goods inventory. Okay, we're going to come up with $5,727,900. And that's the number that you're most after here. And we had to build these other parts of the worksheet to get to that final cost of goods sold. If you plan on working in the manufacturing field, I'd get comfortable with this spreadsheet and the whole process. I'm sure that this will be a big part of your job someday. Well, this concludes Learning Plan 6. Thank you for joining me today.